Okay,
Muy
we're
bien.
recording now.
All right, you do the drum roll. Let's go.
All right. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode. Today we have a very special guest with me today. This is episode 43, and we call this episode El Dúo Dinámico, which stands for the dynamic duo. We've got Shanaz and we have John. Shanaz is a realtor and John is a lender, and they are with Ambiance Realty and also the Mortgage Guys. You guys got to check out their company. They're doing amazing stuff. And today we're going to talk about the importance of the relationship between a lender and a realtor. And so before we get to that, I want them to introduce themselves. They're also very good friends of mine. And I'm really happy and grateful to have them on the show because John and Shanaz are both very busy people. So, yeah, welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. We are honored to be here.
Very honored.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So, my name is Shanaz
Thanks, guys.
Kafader.
So tell people a little bit about you guys. Yeah, Shanaz, you want to go
So, I'm a
first?
realtor. I've been a realtor for 4 years and being in real estate for 7 years. So, John?
Yeah. So hi guys, John Delgado from the Mortgage Guys. I've been doing lending for 13 years, right? And I've been actually a loan officer for the past 3 years. So the first 10 years of my mortgage life was actually working as an assistant, processor, manager, and everything, which I think is like A+++ on your resume because that means you've seen the ins and outs of the file. So when I go up to my clients and look at their documentations or talk to my agents, they kind of know that I'm almost like 100% going to get their deals closed. And if I tell them that they're approved or denied, it's anywhere they go, it's going to be the same thing. So, guys, yeah, been doing it for a while.
Yeah, you've been doing this for a while, and the fact that you started basically like from step one to who
Yeah.
you are now, it's helped you so much. I think you and I both were talking about this offline. I have, I've sat in so many consultations with the lenders, and I think a lot of realtors should do that. Like that's a huge step. Most of the time as realtors, we get a buyer, we send them off to the lender, and we have the lender take care of the pre-approval process. It's crucial for us to be involved in that process because that's where we really understand how to structure deals. You understand what the underwriter is going to look for, what the
Yep.
processor's role is. You understand what everybody's doing on the back end, which helps you then communicate that with your clients. And especially when shit hits the fan and we got to
Yep.
have tough conversations.
Yes,
Like
you
you
do.
understand what to do, right? And I think that's what I like about you and Shanaz, how you guys are always working together hand in hand. I think more realtors should be doing that versus just doing the handoff, right? Like it's a collaborative thing, it's a team effort. That's why I call you guys the duo dinamico because
Hey.
it's important to have that relationship with your lender too. Like, is your lender gonna come, save the deal for you? Do they have your back and your best interest? Because both the realtor and the lender do a lot. We were
Yes.
talking about how a lot of realtors think that, oh well, the lender's just behind the computer, reviewing the file, and we're the ones out here showing and submitting the offers and doing all the legwork.
Yeah.
But you guys are doing the same thing. I mean, you guys are collecting so much paperwork on the back end that we don't get to see. And I think realtors really need to understand the importance of that. So talk to me about like your guys' relationship. When you bring on a client, how do you guys help streamline the process for them?
Got it. So honestly, like we've been working for now 5 years now.
Mhm.
We've been working for 5 years now. We met in Driven, and we were kind of like we kind of talked, we figured it out, and I think we loved each other's energy. And I'm pretty sure when a lot of people talk to me, they understand that
Mm-hmm.
I'm as real as it gets. And we really vibe very well, and we started working and understanding each other, how we can work together as a team, and figuring out what we can do good for our buyers. And Shanaz knows that, from the beginning we talk. She knows I'm going to tell her the real answer, like, hey, this is a no, this is a yes. And if I tell her no, I think she knows that if she goes anywhere else, it's going to be the same no. So like I said in the beginning, you really need to get that trust. And sometimes it's not even working on a file. Sometimes it's just really get to know each other. And I think a lot of people forget about that, is that they think this is transaction. It's not. It's relationship. You have to build a relationship with your agent, with your buyers, with the
Right.
process, with your team, everything. Because if people are in here for the money, guess what? You're going to be out quick. If you're really here to build something for yourself, your family, your business partners, everybody involved, you can go a long way. And that's why we've been working very well together. And Shanaz, like, kind of tell them like, what is it that we do? Because it kind of starts with you. When you get a lead and you talk to a buyer, you kind of explain to me what you do.
So basically, when I get lead, I think I'm just blessed to be working with John. Like we work very closely, so I learn a lot how to pre-qualify people fast. So I already know where they stand. So I'm like, John, they are good. They're like, we can work with them. And he's kind of like, okay, let's jump on a call. I'm going to give you a perfect example of one of our client, and we were talking because we do Zillow, and he would just reach out to me. He's like, oh, I'm in a very bad situation. I got a 30-day notice from my landlord. We've been living in that property for like what, 25 years?
Yeah, it was a long time.
And they're like, we have 30 days to just like leave, and I cannot get qualified with the lender. They try like 3 different lenders, and I was like, okay, you know what, come to the office, let's see what we can do. And he's a W-2, so W-2, you gotta have 401k somewhere. So we just like sit with him, and we just go through the file, and we just call the, what was it,
The
like,
401k,
yeah.
yeah.
And then he got the money, and we got him in escrow in a week. And the week before, he was getting like, they were getting kick him out, like we got him home. And that day John did cry.
I did cry. We did this. I'm just like, wow. It's because
that was amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. You are like transforming lives. Like it sounds a little bit cliche, but you are helping people in tough situations like that. Yeah.
No, and it's crazy because sometimes it still gets me because, like I said, I'm not about the money, guys. I'm really about building relationships and helping these buyers grow, because at the end of the day, that's how you're going to get referrals. These clients can smell it. If they see you're looking at their money, they might not even work with you. And if they do, they'll close it out and they'll never hear from you again. And, with this client walking in, I'm like, hey, let's go over your financial. I'm like, you make great money, man. You make over 120K salary. Why would the bank deny you? It's like, well, this is the thing. I don't have the money, and this is where my FICO is at. I'm like, okay. FICO, I can help you. I'm really going to help people boost up their credit based off the things I do. And I'm like, okay, I can get you there. We're good. Give me a week while you're looking for a house. I'll get you there. And he's like, okay, now the last thing we need to worry about is the money. So where's the money coming from? Not to be funny and all, but I was like, let me look at your checking. Let me look at your savings. $47 and another one, $96. So I'm like, okay, get it. You don't have the money. So let's look at down payment assistance. And I was like, okay, this is your payments. The payment's a little too high. I'm like, well, look, you have a very good job. I'm pretty sure you have a 401k. He's like, yeah, actually I do. How much do you have? He's like, actually, I'm not too sure. Let's call. He calls, and funny story, he has over 100,000 in his 401k. Yeah. So I was like, why didn't the other banks tell you this? He's like, because they just worried about what I have now. They didn't ask me the right questions. I was like,
exactly.
Makes sense. I'm like, it's weird how they never asked you have 401k because of the type of job you have. Like that type of job, you're like almost automatically have some. It has to do with computers, so you already know you have some type of retirement plan or 401k plan. So yeah, I say, hey, ready to go. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna help you get that money. You're gonna get that money, and meanwhile, we're in escrow. You're gonna pay off some funds while we're rescoring you, and boom, got his house, good rate, super happy. They were bawling, crying all day when we turned in the keys. I started crying because sometimes us as lenders, sometimes we don't see the emotion until we actually see them, right? Because a lot of times we're behind the desk and we're just like, what, we need to figure this out. When are we getting the money? The income here, we need to make sure that's good. Okay, the FICO, blah, 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 all this stuff. Then we're like, all right, we close. Woo, let's go see them. And I'm like, oh man, I didn't know all this was happening while I was working on this, And that's why it's really good to have a good realtor, because a lot of times these clients get very emotional, right? And it's fine. That's part of the process. And Shanaz does an amazing job understanding them about like, hey, maybe if we take an extra day or we close sooner, they understand why. And that's why having a good partner is really, really important. So everybody knows what's going on. But it was amazing, guys. It was super awesome.
I was picking on John. I'm like, are you crying, John?
I'm like, no, just water.
You're like,
no.
I've cried a couple of times too. Very few like emotion times, but they're very emotional just experiences. You're part of someone's like biggest purchase, right? Biggest or part of like their financial growth, right? Or
Yep.
wealth building, you could say. In a situation like that, though, like the experience that you have asking for the 401k comes from experience, right? Like
Yeah.
that was probably like something that the other banks, they're so wired to just go through their process, but they don't think outside the box. And I think the fact that
Mm-hmm.
you have so much experience, that little question like, hey, do you have a 401k? Because hints is you have a W-2, you most likely have a 401k. And then even some lenders, when you do have a 401k, they don't help you facilitate the process on getting the 401k,
Oh, you have to because they
like
don't know how to ask
helping
the
them
right
send over the
questions.
purchase agreement,
Yeah.
because they don't know how to ask the right questions either. Well, how much can I get for my 401k? Every 401k company is different,
Yep.
right? So you guys obviously, I'm sure, helped him through that process and helped him
Mm-hmm.
get the funds. And that's just like another added value, that you take off their plate, because they don't know. Like
Mm-hmm.
he didn't even know he had a 401k to begin with. Now extracting it, and having those funds sent to escrow, they don't even know how long that process takes, right?
Yep.
And people
Mm-hmm.
don't understand that sometimes it takes 7 to 15 days to have that money wired over. Like it's
Yep.
that simple, right? And they
Mm-hmm.
just require an RPA, maybe, which is a purchase contract, and maybe one or two other documents depending on the 401k. So for
Yep.
those buyers who are out there listening that have a W-2 and you have a 401k and you have zero in the bank, there's a shot for you.
Yep.
And then if you
100%.
think you don't know, like if you don't know where you stand with credit, I think a lot of people, Shanaz and I work with a lot of buyers. Their first, people either lack credit, down payment, or income. It's one of the three. It's rare
Yep.
that somebody comes to you with all three already ready to go. Like that
Yeah.
would be picture perfect, right?
Yep.
But whenever you're gonna go meet with somebody like Nas or John, you're gonna lack one of the three. The reason why you want to go meet with them is because they're going to set you up on a game plan to get you to be in a good position on all those three. So if you
Yep.
lack credit, you have the down payment, and you have good income, then let's work on the credit. That's not an issue. Like, John, I'm sure you can run simulators, and maybe
Yeah.
you can touch a little bit on that and how that works, because that's the misconception. People think, well, if I'm going to go meet with the lender, like I'm signing my life away. No, you're going to go consult with
Yeah.
someone,
That's what they
right?
think. They
And then they're
think
going to set
that.
up a game plan. Yeah.
Yeah, they think that, and it's very simple, guys. Sometimes it's as quick as a couple days, a week, two, or a month, and it depends on everybody's situation. But this client was very simple. It was a week and a half, and got his score where we needed it to be to get him the right rate, the right amount that he needed, so we can get him closed very quickly. And it was pretty quick file, and clients were super happy. Like, man, the way they were like emotionally, because I
Yeah,
didn't even know,
those are the best.
I didn't even know they didn't tell their kids.
Yeah, they all were
So when the
crying.
kids got there, like, oh
Oh
my
man.
god, we
Yeah.
got a house. I'm like, wow. My ass, I can't hold that secret for
And
too
we
long.
have
Like,
kids,
kids, I got a house.
so you
Woo!
already know.
Nah, some people I don't know. I'm like, man, I
Yeah,
don't know
I
if I'm
closed
not
a
in
deal
for
like
30
that one time.
days.
Yeah, I closed a deal like that one time, and they didn't tell the daughter that that they were buying a house, and
Oh.
they like decorated the room with balloons and stuff, and that was really
Oh,
emotional. Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's emotional. Like it's unless you're working with investors, and even then, I'll tell you, investors are very emotional people too.
You
Even though
think
it's a numbers based game, they're still,
I think they're
yeah,
emotional
hell
in a
yeah, they're
different
still
way.
driven off of emotion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're still driven off of emotion, because people are always constantly just going through life situations,
yeah,
whether it's personal or business or whatever. But it's nice to be a part of that journey, and then being able to make it a smooth transition. Because at the end of the day, like, what is our value add, right?
yeah.
As realtors and as lenders, I think I was talking to the other person that I had on the podcast earlier. We were talking about how AI and technology, it's great and it's a tool, but in day-to-day deals, like, people are so emotionally driven. AI can't help you have a tough conversation,
Exactly.
on what's going to be the best financial plan for you and your family. It's just AI is not there yet, and so they still need us, but they need someone who really has the best interest in that family's like future, and
Yeah.
then communicating well. Like, let's talk about that, because I work with a lot of realtors too, just like you, John and Shanaz. a lot of us lack communication. Like we
Mhm.
just don't maybe we lack like knowledge on the process on the back end, because the barrier of entry for realtors is so low that either there just isn't enough, I guess, clarity around how we should communicate with one another, rather
Yeah.
than it being like a lot of friction in the deal.
Mhm.
I'm always looking at how can we work at together as a team, whether I'm representing the buyer or the listing side.
Mhm.
Like I'm always reaching out to the listing agent, to their TC, to their lender, cross qualifying. Like, how can I make this smoother for everybody? Because at the end of the day, we're all here with one goal, and
Yeah.
that's to make it a smooth process for the client. So, can you
Yes.
guys touch on
100%.
that?
Sir.
Yeah. So, like with me and John, we actually do monthly mastermind together. So, like, I want to know what's going out there. Like, as a lender, what is he seeing from other realtors? So, I'm more involved with that. So, I can kind of like go, okay, what do I need to do? And then we go actually go over the files whatever we have to see, okay, how we can structure it to help the client better, because with the interest rate keeps kind of like, going up and up, like, okay, so right now this client we have to close it fast, or we have to like, move it more
Yeah.
faster than the other ones. So we kind of like communicate, and I like literally never communicate like that with other lenders. Other lenders, it's like you get pre-approval, they ghost you. And then, once you open escrow, and it's kind of like on the weekend, you cannot get hold of
Yeah.
them. So with me and John, like, he's like my brother. Like, I'm like, Julie, like his wife. I'm like, sorry, Julie, I have to call. But, it's just like, I like literally text him at 11 at night and he answer it.
Mhm.
Because in the end, the clients see us as realtor, lender, escrow, title, everything. They have all
Mhm.
these questions, and sometimes we
Right.
know, but we cannot say, like, I cannot talk about numbers. A lot of times, like John, hey John, like they're asking like how much the down payment's gonna be. So he's like, jump
Their
on it.
payment, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And sometimes I ask you over and over and over, even during, right?
yeah.
Because things change. Maybe the quote was higher on the insurance, maybe the
Mhm.
tax rate was higher than what I quoted. It's because everybody knows in this beautiful state of California, no one really knows the actual rate
Yeah.
until we pull up that tax roll, and they're like, hey, guess what? It was higher. Hey, guess what? It was lower. Or guess what? It had mellow roofs. Guess what? It didn't. Stuff like that. So like it's part of the process, and we've been doing business together for a while, and a lot of times I do this masterminds once a month with almost all my agents, and I work with 20 plus agents. And almost all my agents love this. Why? Because I'm keeping them informed what's going on in with the market when it comes to rates. I tell them what's going on, what I'm seeing based off other agents. What are they doing good? What are they doing bad? Most of them are doing great. It's just sometimes some
Right.
lack things than others. And I'm telling them, like, man, if you really want to go from closing 1 to 2 a month, this is what you need. You want to go from closing 2 to 5, this is what you need to do. Some people can do it, some people can't, right? Because we all have families, we have priorities, we have so many things we have to do. Some people take care of their family, their parents. Some people,
I
it's
think
just
it's also
themselves.
like the level of
Your mindset,
I think
yeah.
also the level of emotional intelligence that you have, because I don't think a
Mhm.
lot of people talk about that. But as a lender and a realtor, again, it's such an emotional process for the
It
people that we're
Mhm.
is
working
very.
for,
Yeah.
that we need to be mentally good, right? Like
Mhm.
I try to meditate a lot and do breath work, because that's really what's going to help me like be present and have the tackle on the tough conversations that I need to have day to day, because who else is going to do them? Like we have
Mhm.
to do them. We got to take one for the team and
Uh-huh.
have those tough conversations right off the back. And I
Yep.
love setting expectations from the get-go. Like I give my clients worst case scenario, best case scenario at all times, so that when shit hits the fan, like we
Mhm.
had already talked about this, right?
Yeah.
This is something that could have happened, and we kind of just lay it all out. So I really
Mhm.
like the combo between you two, because there has to be good synergy between the lender and the realtor.
Yep.
If you don't hear from your lender, like every week or once a month,
Mhm.
I don't even understand how they still do business, really. Like if they're not
Yeah.
educating their
I'll be
realtors,
always texting people,
who
be like,
are
hey, how's it been?
basically like at the
Yeah, and people know
yeah,
me
that's
like a lot. If you
crazy.
guys follow me
So
on
tell
Instagram, you guys can see I'm very emotional person when it
Yes,
comes to
you
like
guys
I
gotta
want to
follow
make
him.
sure you guys are doing
Mhm.
great. emotionally, because in the business is business. I think there's
Mhm.
more than enough business for everybody. There's so many
For
buyers, so
everyone.
many homes that I don't think anybody will get hurt with buying somebody else.
Mhm.
So therefore, I'm always 100% with everybody, and I think they love that about me because they know I'm gonna really go all out. They know I have a family behind me. They know I have a beautiful wife that I have to work because I have a lot of bills to pay. And of course, I have an awesome team. And I have an awesome team. So this
They
is
know
all
they
one
know the
reason,
motivation is there.
right? I got a lot of motivation for
They,
sure.
yeah, you're like they know you
And
don't lack
what's crazy is
motivation
that
there for sure.
my
No, but
team,
that's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I have an amazing team, guys. This is what allows me to keep at a high level working with all these agents, because I bet you everybody's like, he's lying. How can you work with 20 agents that have all these escrows? Like, he's a liar. Like, he probably has one, right? I'm like, no. So I have an amazing team. I have a production manager. She helps me with all my open escrows when it comes to approvals, appraisals, fundings. Then I have my personal assistant who helps me with all the paperwork up front, like, hey, collecting documents, pre-approvals going out, making sure the clients know what's going on, agents know what we're missing and where we're at status. And having those levels in front of me allows me to be available with these agents, because if not, I wouldn't even be on this podcast. I'd be like, what's going on with this file? Why haven't we funded?
Exactly, exactly. And that I think is key too. It's like you have your team, Shanaz has her own. I'm sure, from the time she opens escrow, she has her TC,
Yeah.
she has you on the back end along with your team, and that's how you guys are able to service more people.
Mhm.
Now, tell me, or I know we touched on a little bit about the rates, but right now, let's kind of,
Market
the rates are
update.
what they are right now.
Yeah.
A little quick market update for them. And like, I think we talked about this offline. It doesn't matter where rates are. I think there's this big old hype about, oh my God, rates are this high or rates are this low. And it's like always this conversation around the rates. But
Yeah.
really, it's like, how can we pivot regardless of where the rates are, right? Like when rates are this, then we do this. When rates are this, then we do that. Like it
Yeah.
really doesn't matter. So what are you currently doing? Because obviously you have like 1,000 escrows right now. So it
Yeah,
doesn't
right,
even
like
matter where
many.
rates are at. But if you want to give people a little market update, let's just
Yeah.
tell them what the market update is. Where are we at with rates? And what can people do even with these rates? Like people are still buying
Yeah.
regardless.
So I could talk about this for like a whole hour, but I'll summarize it to like
Yeah.
a 2 3 minute.
Hmm.
So guys, in the end of the day, I tell my buyers and agents sometimes, right? Like, why are the rates so high? I'm like, you have to understand that that's how the market works. There's not that much inventory. A lot of buyers are trying to figure out how they can get a home because rents are high. And, the economy, it is what it is, right? I say sometimes the government doesn't know what they're doing, but then I think they do in the same time because they have all control of what's going on in the housing market, right? So, what I tell everybody, look, focus on what you can control, right? When it comes to your payment, yeah, the rate could be 6, 7, 5, 8%, whatever it can be, depending on your qualification. But a lot of times I tell people, like, you do know legally, me as a licensed loan officer and her as a licensed realtor, we cannot legally force you into something you can't afford.
Mhm.
So anything I tell you is because you legally qualify. Now, based off all this, right? How much you're paying in rent? Sometimes some people, oh, I only pay 800 because I live with my mom. I'm okay. Let's go back to being realistic, right? If you're really looking to buy a home, what payment are you comfortable with, right? And they'll be like, oh, I'm comfortable with 2,000. I'm okay. 2,000, you're talking about probably Apple Valley, super far somewhere. Are you
You're
willing to go
talking
lower?
Bakersfield.
Yeah, yeah. Are you willing to go higher? He's like, well, yeah, I'm willing to go at least 3, max 35. I just didn't want to go that high. I know the rates are high. I'm like, okay, look, don't focus on the rates. Let's focus on the payment. Focus on what your plan is, because remember, you never fall in love with the rate, because remember, the rates, you only date it. You could change it whenever you want. You could refinance it down to a lower rate. You can even go higher and cash out. So just know that that's something you can control. What you can't control is the price, because right now people are taking advantage. That's why I got a lot of escrows open. People are taking advantage because there's not that much people to compete. There are certain cities that there's still high level
Exactly.
competition, but the other areas, you're probably only the only one, or maybe one or two other ones that are all kind of offering almost the same thing, very close. So you have a bigger chance of getting what you want and not actually coming out of pocket. Because when the rates were at two,
Of
three
actually
percent,
getting the home.
yeah,
Mhm.
and when the rates were like 2, 3%, you were fighting over 30 people.
You didn't even
Imagine
get a
that.
shot at it.
Yeah, you didn't even get a shot.
Hmm.
Like, hey, you don't
Hmm.
even have 100K sitting around this. buyer number 5 over here has 100, 200K ready to put down on this house. That's not even going to his house, it's going to the seller. Now you have all these options. So I tell them, like, look, you got to look at the benefits right now because you could refinance your rate later. And I tell everybody, where are the rates at right now? I'm going to look, depending on your situation. If you're looking at an FHA, you're looking around the mid 6. And if you're looking at conventional, you're looking at the mid 7s. It's not that bad, honestly. You know, rates, I've seen rates as high as 10, 11, 12%, right? It could be hard money. It could be bank statement. It could be very many things, right? And people are still buying like that. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's just based off what you're comfortable with and what you actually legally qualify. So I'll tell everybody, don't worry about it. We're gonna get you through it because you know what? The beautiful thing in here in the United States that you can refinance every time you make 6 payments. Then we can like reevaluate where you're at when it comes to equity rate, and we just refinance you. So I tell them like sacrifice for 6 months to a year. I do tell them like it looks like you might have to wait a year to refinance based off how the market is going. What
Realistically,
I'm
more like a
reading,
year.
yeah. So I'm like, just wait for that. And like honestly, like you're in the best position you have because guess what? When the rates go down, you just gained equity, you know? And now you could, let's say if you gain
Exactly.
100K, yeah, you have 100K to play with, right? You could either just refinance, lower your rate, and wait longer, which most people do, or you can sell it, make your 80, 60K, and now use that as a bigger down payment for a house that you want now, right? A bigger, better home, right? So I tell them like this is the best part of real estate. You have options.
Right.
When you're renting, you have 0 options. You can't go to your renter like, hey, I've been renting it for 20 years and I paid you over 500 grand. Can I have 100 grand? They're gonna be like, no, it's my money.
No.
Yeah. You when you're
Yeah,
on your own
exactly.
property, you can be like, you it's simple as calling John, like, hey, I know I have 200, $400,000 of equity. Can I pull out 100,000? Perfect. Let me run the numbers for you. That's simple. That's the beauty of real estate. And I tell everybody you can't do that as a
Yeah, and
renter.
I think a lot of people, the buyer's psychology or mentality is
Yeah.
stuck on the 3.5 to 4.5% rates, interest rates, which are obviously we might not even see those again. So
Yeah.
I think it's again understanding where we're at, understanding the long-term goal. Like, do you want to buy your first investment? Do you want to buy a house? That's step one. Understanding that, then everything else really is all noise. And focus
Yeah.
on, again, like what you said, focus on what you can control and working with people like you guys who can actually guide them. Like, hey, this is what my other clients are successfully doing, and this is how they're able to implement the buying strategy right now,
Yep.
even with where rates are right now. I think that's the biggest thing and my biggest takeaway. What would you say, like for investors or people who want to do 1031 exchanges? What's your advice for those investors?
It just investors, it's totally different ball game. It's,
Mm-hmm.
I look at the market just like last year. A lot of hedge funds were buying these properties, and there is something out that you have to read the market, what's
Hmm.
going on. So my investors were buying a lot of buy and hold with a lot of cash. But like in August, they kind of like started to slow down a little bit because they were a lot of them were scared of crash.
Yeah.
But at the same time, now everyone is coming back because they see next year in March it's going to start picking up. So it
Right.
just give them that enough time frame to
Mm-hmm.
even fix and flip, or just buy and hold too.
Yep. And honestly, guys, when it comes to investing, right? There's so much opportunity out there for you guys, especially, and that's honestly, I think a lot of people that are buying right now are
Mhm.
investors, right? They slowed down more this month, but before, and I think they're going to come back. There's still some that because there's so much new programs. You could go non-QM, 10% down bank statement. You can go
Mm-hmm.
DSCR, no income documents needed, 20% down, or even 25, depending on how many units you're getting, and you don't need any income documents. Like, how much easier do you want it? Like these banks are willing to lend money. Why? Because that's their job. They're here to lend money. They're not here to just sit here and wait for you when you're ready. They want to make sure they can help you because that's the risk of it, right? They give you a rate, they earn a little bit off it while you earn the bigger pie of it, the equity, right? Now you can maneuver that all the
Mm-hmm.
time and you gain more money, sell it, keep renting it, and get another one. And that's what a lot of people have been doing. The number one thing right now for investors is DSCR because they don't have to provide any income docs as long as the rent covers the
Yeah.
mortgage. That's all they care about. And at the end of the day, as an investor, you want at least that. You're not gonna buy a house like, hey, I'm getting 20% down, and I'm still negative 1,000. I'm like, hey, even I
Yeah.
would tell you don't get that house. you know. So like, it's very simple. Like, it's not that hard, right? I'm like, so, and most of the time when you're putting that much
It's not.
down,
I mean, especially like the DS the
DSCR.
DSCR loans and non-QM loans have been a game changer. And I don't think people understand how much
yeah,
of a game changer those have been, because before COVID, those weren't really around.
yep,
And during COVID, there was like a spark of entrepreneurship that came about. Now people are able to have a hybrid model where they're not really working a W-2, or they're working for themselves. And that's where the DSCR and the non-QMs came into play and
100,
really help not just investors, but even like your first time home buyers. And I think
yep,
also talking to first time home buyers, what I tell first time home buyers is they need to start thinking as investors, because that's where the ADU play comes into play.
yep,
If the average buyer is saying, hey, I want my payment to be 3,000 or 3,500, or let's say 2,000, right? I'm like, okay, well, the average payment right now is really going to look more like 35, 3,600, but we can get you to the $2,000 budget that you're looking for if you're willing to convert the garage, rent it out, and give up some space, or convert existing space or build space, rent that out. Now that helps you offset your mortgage. Now that $3,500 payment, if you rent the garage out for 1,500 or 2,000, now you're in that budget of 18 to
yep.
2,000 that you're looking to pay. But you got to structure it that way. So even as a first time home buyer, you can't come in wanting to just buy your first house. Honestly, as a first time home buyer, you got to come in with an investor mindset already in this type of market, because of
Mm-hmm.
the affordability issue. So
Yep.
whether you're looking to build it now, because the other piece of it too is like financing an ADU. I understand that is also a hurdle for first time home buyers. But if you're already coming in with that mentality that you're going to build it in the long run, you're already coming in as an investor mindseted, first time home buyer that will help you offset your mortgage at some point. And a lot of first time home buyers are self employed. So for those of you looking for the non QMs, like reach out to John, schedule a 15-20 minute consultation, Zoom call, phone call, whatever. Like get on the phone with him and have him go over those options for you. It really is that simple, because you don't know where you stand now. And after the phone call, I bet you will know where you stand, and you'll at least know like what to work towards the next 3, 6, or even a year later. Like we're not going anywhere. He's still gonna be in business.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. I'm
Or
here
I
for
don't
the
know.
long run.
I don't know.
So
We'll
you
see.
can tell off all my gray hairs. I've been here for the long run.
Yeah. Well,
And
look, guys.
it's cool how it's crazy how you said that, because right now out of my 15 escrows, 2 of them are multi-units, first time home buyers. One of them is a fourplex, another one's a triplex. Right now, guys, I think fourplex is where to go. Triplex is a little tougher depending on rents, but on this
Mhm.
fourplex, man, based off what I can use now, you can do even more, right? Based off paperwork, he's gonna get 11,000 a month. Payments only 8,600.
Right.
So
Right.
well, think about it, right? You're gonna live in one of them, right? So technically, that rent kind of equals into almost it's paying itself, and you just enjoy living as an investor mindset as a first-time home buyer. And sometimes these deals are no-brainers. So it just you really got to get educated with the lender and also with the great realtor that knows how to go out there. Shanaz knows how to do that. She'll make sure she'll find you the right property that gives you the right cash flow. Because last thing you want is somebody that's gonna throw you somewhere you have no idea, and out of nowhere now you're like, hey, I just got this house. Now I'm negative 2,000 a month. Like, what did you get me in? And guess what? Now you lost a referral. You
Exactly.
make yourself look bad, and it is what it
Yeah,
is.
again, I think that's the other value add, you guys working together as a team, because Shanaz has worked with investors. She understands the cash flow play. She understands how to make the numbers pencil out, and before even handing them your way, right? And then
Yep.
now both of you guys together, el dúo dinámico, comes together and then
Yep.
just makes it happen. And when you're underwriting for a fourplex, you're underwriting with a long-term rental rent. If you want to take it a step further, you can even consider midterm rentals. And now you're really like, that's the cherry on top, right? If
Yep.
you're able to do that in your market, maybe short term rentals, maybe midterm rentals, and maybe even throwing in a couple ADUs, you can hit me up, right? And we can
Yeah.
analyze the portfolio and see how we can turn that fourplex into a six. And that might go over
There we
people's
go.
heads,
Woo. A lot of
but
money.
And
That's
A lot
that
of
was a
cash
little
flow.
too
you
much.
can get the fourplex with the FHA too. So
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
people don't realize that. It's like
And then
400.
what are the new income limits for a fourplex? I think
You
that's
mean, oh, you
even
mean the loan
something that
limits?
most people don't
When
even
it comes
know.
to
Like
loan limits,
it's
if you're in
crazy.
LA County, you
The
can go
loan
as
limits,
high,
sorry.
if you go
Yeah,
in a
the loan limits
fourplex,
are high, like for
yeah, you can go
LA.
as high as 2 million for a
Yeah.
fourplex
With a
That's crazy.
3.5
with
With
three
the
and a
down.
half
FHA.
percent down FHA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
which means you can buy a fourplex up to 2 million with 3.5% down. That's it. As
Mhm.
long as
that's it.
Shanaz makes sure that it pencils out,
Yep,
then John can do the loan. So
100%.
that's good stuff, man. I think hopefully a lot of investors who are watching understand how they just simply need to have an open conversation, be open minded. Another thing I'll say is don't listen to your cousin or your grandma or your whoever just bought a house or an investment last week or last year, because their scenario is totally different from yours. Whoever's in your ear, like, that's great. Congratulations to them and their deals, but be open to the fact that your scenario is completely different. Your finances are different, your credit's different, your motivation's different. And so you cannot compare yourself
Yeah,
to what I have this conversation all the time. And that's actually one of the first questions I ask, like, who's in your ear? Where did you get this idea of wanting to
Yeah.
buy? Like, who's consulting you on the back end? Because I need to like put that aside and make sure that we just squash that, because you can't bring that here. You got to be open to what are the options available
yeah,
to you, and knowing that that you can trust people like you guys to actually just put you in the best situation, best case scenario, right?
yep, 100%.
Yeah, and I think right now
All right.
the new generation, they are more like open to getting investment property. They see all these things. Like, the older generation, they're like, oh no, we can save money, we can help family. They have that mentality. Now this generation is totally different.
Yep,
They know what's going on.
Yeah,
You
well,
know.
I think they're more educated now that
Mhm.
obviously with the internet, like the data and the information is more accessible. But more than that, it's like the new norm now is you have to be an investor. Like you can't just buy a house and buy it for 100,000 like you did 20 years ago. Like that's
yep,
just not the case now. So you have to think like, okay, how can I create some passive income at the same time while buying my first house? And that's really the best way to tap into this type of market. And I hope that that's kind of the takeaway from today's episode. So make sure you guys connect with John, Shanaz. And I got one more question before we go, which is, what is your favorite travel destination? Whoever wants
ah,
to go first.
Florida.
Florida. Okay.
Woo, Florida. I love
Mine,
Florida. Yes.
I have two, but my favorite one is Hawaii because every time I go to Hawaii, I go with my family and it's great experience. The kids are so happy, wife's happy, everybody's happy. My second one, it was the Virgin Islands. It was really nice, beautiful,
Oh,
beautiful area.
really? I've never been to.
It was beautiful, yeah.
Wow.
So, but
Yeah, I
Hawaii is my
gotta
number
say,
one.
yeah, I gotta take my son there. I want to take my
Yeah.
son to Hawaii.
Oh no,
Puerto
the
Rico
kids
is
love
my
it. Oh
my
my God,
favorite
they think it's like
spot.
paradise.
Yeah, and you surf. It's like
Oh, I bet.
Ooh, that's good for you right
Yeah.
there.
Oh, I gotta go there. Yeah, I gotta go
You're
there
gonna be
for
like
sure.
everybody, hey.
Well, I'll be in Hawaii, thumbs up. Hopefully in 5 years, I'll be in Puerto Rico living my best life. And then I'll just send
Uy.
all my clients to
Ahí los invitas para las
you, and then
chelas,
you guys can
a
handle
las
it.
medallas,
Yeah.
a las medallas. Oh, I've been to Puerto
No,
Rico.
for real, para las
I've
medallas.
been to medallas are bomb.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, it's really nice. I love going there. Obviously Mexico. I'm from Mexico, so Mexico's beautiful. But that's dope. Florida, I love Florida. We got to go there, Shanaz, and I'll be out there soon. So I'll let you
oh
know.
yeah,
Maybe we can
you
have a
have
little trip,
your
a little girls trip or something.
yeah. I cannot wait.
Yep, I
Awesome.
can't wait. Yep. All right, guys. Well, I know you got to go, John and Shanaz. Thank you guys so much for your time. Really appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys connect with them. You guys want to share your IG handles real quick before we head
Yeah,
out?
mine is at the real John Delgado Instagram. And you guys have any
The
questions?
real, the real
The
The
John.
real,
real
because there was a
John.
lot of fake ones out there, so I had to create it. I'm not lying. I had like over 100 fake accounts.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta just put the real John in. Boom. put that blue check mark, and I'm good. Now no one
Cool.
can copy me.
And mine is the
That's
Shanaz.
right. Verified.
Mine
This
is
Shanaz.
the
Oh, and then Shanaz. I
uh,
also wanted you to share really quick. So Shanaz is actually part of the Women's Council of Greater LA. You want to tell them what you're doing there and what you got going on so people can connect with you. And if they want to be part of it, I know you and I have been talking about it. And I think eventually I'm just going to have to be part of the clan because
John
I really like
actually
what you guys
signed up
got going on.
yesterday.
I
He's
saw that. I saw that. Yeah. Yeah.
you know, women council of realtors. It's a great way if you're a realtor, lender, or title. You know, just to network, because a lot of time people don't realize like our business is 85% is mindset, who you hang out with. Because you know, if you hang
Mhm.
out with the wrong people,
Yeah.
it's really like you're gonna go down the drain. So like Women
I
Council was
agree.
one of the best thing ever happened. And I started like what 2000 2020, and it was amazing. And I've been vice president, everything basically except for treasure. I cannot, like I told John, I cannot do like I cannot
The
be a lender.
numbers. Handle the
I'm
finances.
not.
Yeah. I won't do those types of numbers. I'll do the other types of numbers, but not these.
She's like, I
Yeah.
can't handle the finances. I'll use all the money.
Yeah.
But
That's
now
funny.
I'm the president elect for Greater Los
Mhm.
Angeles, and next year I will be the president. And my goal really is to help the community. To be honest, our realtors and lenders to network, and we just come together, you know, and educate clients and the first-time home buyer. And actually, I was in Sacramento for Calhafa and fair housing. So which was amazing. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
yeah, to get more money from the senates and everything, just because we won the Cal Heifer back. So it was amazing. So it just
I
like it,
agree. I remember I was closing so many Cal FHA loans and what
yeah.
was it, 2017 one,
Um,
Yeah.
2018. It was like it was a thing, and we were able to help a lot of families like just through that program. So I think what you're doing is great. I think a lot of women just seeing you will feel empowered to want to be part of that. And I'm definitely going to join. So I will be in touch with
yay.
you. Yes, because I really like what you're doing and I can see like you're passionate about it. And I just again like my goal is obviously long term. It's to build relationships and it to be in this in the long term. Just like investing is long term, so is this business and the relationships that we cultivate. So having people like you guys in my circle is super dope. I really want to thank you guys.
No,
And
thank
I'm
you.
really gonna let you go now because I know you got to talk to
I'm like,
20 agents. But thank you guys again.
Thank
Thank you
you,
guys again.
Stephanie.
I know. You want to pick up the phone if I see it.
no,
Yeah,
thank
I'll
you
let
so
you
much.
guys
I really
go.
appreciate you having us here on your
Yeah,
podcast. It was
Yeah.
amazing. And guys, anybody
thank
want to
you.
reach
I
out to
really
us, send
appreciate
us a
it.
DM.
And we'll
Really
be in touch
appreciate it so
soon.
much. All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.